How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tacked Out. Thanks for hanging out with me, Andrew. So today we're just going to kind of go over a couple things that I've written down. We're not really going to do a Q&A. If you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the comment section. If I got enough time at the end of the day or at the end of this podcast, we'll get to it. If not, we'll just answer them next week. So let me just take a few seconds to kind of talk about a couple little things, and then we'll get on more of the subject of our Cerakote. But we have an open house. If you guys have any time, you're able to get to it, I recommend coming. We're going to be giving away a Glock. The open house is going to be Friday, June 24th from 2 to 5. We're going to be doing demos for the laser. We're going to be giving all kinds of stuff away. We're going to be doing a couple or at least one Cerakote project. We're just going to kind of do a demo, show everybody how we're doing it. We're going to be doing podcast all day long. So if you're interested, we'll be having a full, I guess for the 3 hours, we're going to just be doing podcast every 30 minutes. And then we'll just show everybody what's going on in between it. So that'll be fun. We're going to have snacks, drinks, all kinds of stuff. So if you're in town and you're able to make it, come check out Branson Cerakote, and then we're going to have a lot of fun. So today's topic, we're going to go over a few different things. All right. I've got my top 20 colors and why I picked those top 20 colors. So first color I've got is, they're all H codes. I can give you guys the number and the colors, but H189 Noveske Bazooka green. That's just a good shade of green. You can use it in a lot of different ways. It blends well with, if you're gonna do, woodland camo or desert camos, it's a very versatile green. That's just the green that we kind of picked in our shop that we like, and that's one that we use a whole lot. Chocolate brown. Again, the H code is H2 or H258. Sorry. We use that one for the same reason. It goes good with your woodlands. It goes good with desert. It goes good with just basically anything you're spraying. We like it with our table rock. It's a good color. And we're not saying you have to use these colors. These are just the top 20 colors that we use in our shop the most. That for sorry. I'm shaking the camera as I'm moving the table. I apologize. I like to flail my arms a lot, so I'll try to tone it down a little bit. We also use H268 Troy Coyote tan. That's it's kind of, I wish we'd have took pictures of all these and we could have showed them. Maybe we'll get pictures of all the bottles and show you guys the shades. Maybe next week we'll pull them all up. But the Troy Coyote tan, it's not really a real dark tan. It's darker, but it's not extremely dark. But it's kind of a mixture between a brown and a tan. It's a good looking color. It's kind of it's very versatile at the same point. You can use that one in your woodland. You can use that one in your deserts. You can use it for even in some urban aspects. I feel like you could use that. So Sniper green's kind of a darker green. There's not a whole lot of difference between like Sniper green and like OD green. There is some, like it's a few shades off, but either one or the other, is a good one. Just pick a darker green that you like and you use that one and call that good. Desert Verde. I love Desert Verde. It's a good looking color. We use that. That's our base coat for all of our desert camo. It lays down easy. It's just a nice looking color. It's almost like a light gray, kind of beige. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain it, but it is a very good looking color. The Desert Sand, H199. It's kind of like a lighter tan color. It's a really good color also, and we use that the same way. It's our desert colors. It's the way I also use it in our woodland patterns. We use it for a lot in our table rock. It's a good color. But, and like I said, just because these are the colors that we say that we use a lot doesn't mean, these are just the colors that we use on hand. Every shop probably different. These are just the ones that we found that we like as far as the shades and everything. Doesn't mean that we're right all the time. It just means that these are the colors that we like. Our next color, H182, light sand. And that's almost kind of, oh, sorry, yeah, 142. It is light sand. It's almost kind of, it's almost an off-white, but it looks good. I mean, use that for your desert. You can also use that in woodland patterns as well. I mean, all these colors that I'm saying, depending on how you spray your pattern, you can get multiple different uses out of it, you know. If you spray your greens towards the end, then it's going to look more woodland because you're going to have overall green out of the whole pattern instead of spraying your browns towards the end or your tans and getting desert patterns out of it. The Noveske Tiger Eye Brown, almost kind of like a, when I think this is the one. When John first got it, he was like, I don't think I'm really gonna like this color. I'm not a big fan of it. And after he sprayed it the first time, he's like, I really like this color. He's like, I didn't think I was gonna like it at first, but it's kind of like a darker tannish brown, and it's the same thing. I mean, all these colors can be used in different ways. FDE, just flat dark earth, H265. I mean, everybody knows flat dark earth. There's tons of different ones. You got the Magpul FDE. There's I think there's like 6 or 7 different ones probably. But just find the shade that you like, and that's the one you use. I mean, if a customer come in and they specifically say I want Magpul FDE, then yes, of course, you know, you charge them for their color and you order a bottle of Magpul FDE. As far as keeping every every FDE in stock, I wouldn't do that. Or, you know, buy all Magpul different colors because they have Magpul OD green, the FDE. Whatever. You don't have to keep all that in stock. If those are the shades that you like out of the greens and the browns and everything, then of course keep them in stock. But you don't have to keep every shade of FDE because there's no reason to have every shade of FDE unless you have people specifically asking for those shades. Multicam dark green. And that's just what it sounds like. It's just a darker green, and it's just the multicam. There's not a whole lot of difference between the multicam dark green and the sniper green. I think the dark green's a little lighter than the dark green, or the sniper green. I'm sorry, but it's just a good contrast color for when you're doing like desert cam and you just want to put just like a few little accents of green in there or something. It looks really good. And then we have the multicam bright green, and it's a lot brighter. H343. Sniper gray, H234. And this is the one, the reason we keep sniper gray in stock is because, you know, we sand down black guns all day long. And then if somebody wants us to say, you know, hey, just sand it down, I just want you to Cerakote it black. It's like what we talked about last week on episode 1 was, why would you sand down a gun and then spray it black just as, you know, all they want is Cerakote on it. So if they're just wanting the name Cerakote to be on their gun, don't just spray it back black. Let's make it a little bit different. It's still going to be dark colored, but sniper gray has a little bit of metal flake in it. It's just a really nice color. But instead of going to the range and your gun looking like everybody else's on the range, just being a black gun, now it's a little bit more custom. It looks a little different. It's not the same as everybody else's. So that's the reason we keep in the sniper gray. Habenero Red, H318. The reason we keep that in is this is what we use for our tattered flag. So it's a really bright red. We don't try to use like any darker colors. We want it to be really bright. We're going to tone that down with black anyways at the end. But we want it to be nice and vibrant. So we use the Habanero Red. H185 Titanium Blue. That's also our blue that we use for our tattered flag. And again, that is a kind of a brighter blue. It has metal flake in it. They look really good together. And then we use H158 Shimmer Aluminum. It's kind of a tricky color to start spraying until you get like used to it. We talked about this last week as well. Use a black base coat if you're getting dry spray on that Shimmer Aluminum, and that'll kind of take care of the dry spray because you can get a good base coat of black on there, and then you've got your Shimmer Aluminum go over the top of it, and it's just going to look a lot better. Don't have the dry spray. It's not going to be textured. It's going to be nice and flat. It's going to feel really good. So after that, we have Graphite Black, and there's tons of different blacks out there. You got your armor black, graphite black, and then you have oh, I can't think of the name of it right now. Your shiny black, like your gloss black, sorry. So what we say in our shop is you basically have graphite black and then you've got your gloss black. Those are the only two blacks that we spray. Um, we think that graphite black sprays better than all the rest of them. And if you put them next to each other and spray all the different blacks that they have, except for gloss black, all the other ones look the same. They're just a dull black. They look black. So just keep a big bottle of graphite black and call it good. This one's not really a color that we use a whole lot. This is just my personal favorite color that Cerakote has. Black Cherry 319. I don't know what it is about it. I just like it. It's kind of like the rich dark purple with metal flakes in it. It reminds me of like the 70s pinstriping or something you'd see on like hot rods or like low riders or something. It just looks really good. I like it quite a bit. The Patriot Brown, it's not as dark as the chocolate brown, and you can even like go back and do like some shadowing around your stencils. Like if you sprayed the chocolate brown first, put a couple stencils on, and then go back and highlight your part out in the Patriot Brown, there's just enough contrast there to where you can actually kind of see it. It gives it like a 3D look, so it's pretty cool. Burnt Bronze 148, sorry. So the burnt bronze, I mean, everybody likes the burnt bronze, so we keep that on deck. And we also keep the midnight bronze, which is a little bit darker. I personally myself like the midnight bronze over the burnt bronze. And we have a video on Applicator Hangout where we show how we actually like to do like a burnt bronze battle wear, where most people, would only do probably 2 colors. Where you're doing, we put 5 colors on ours, and they look really nice. So if you guys have a chance and you want to sign up for Applicator Hangout, come over to Applicator Hangout, check it out. We have lots of good videos on there. So those are my top 20 colors that I would say kind of keep on stock once you get started. And you can pretty much do just about any pattern with that. There's not a lot that you couldn't do with at least just having those 20 colors. I feel like that's a good variety of anything that would come through the shop. You should be able to nail down. The only thing that I would say maybe keep in there, like you could trade a couple of them out. You maybe get like some light grays or something like that, like a bull shark gray or the battleship gray. I'm not sure of the H code. I didn't write those down. But the only reason I say you have that, you have the black. So if you had a lighter gray, you can always, or even a white. We just don't. We try to stay away from white. White's just it's like a problem child. So you just kind of just push that one out of the way a little bit. So we just, it can just be a lot harder. Like it tacks out way too fast, and then you can just ruin your whole project. So if we have to spray white, we try to think about how can we spray this white towards the end. We never want to put it on as a base coat. So we try not to spray it as much. So if you just have like a lighter gray, then you can mix your black and you can play the whole gray scale if that's what you're looking for. And when you do, okay, cool. So yeah, we just dropped a link of Applicator Hangout in the description. If anybody's interested, you can check that out. But with the grayscale, don't just put the grays and the blacks and whatever in there, add a few little hints of like blue or red or like really bright green, but you don't need a lot of it. You only want like 5% of that gun to have these just really bright pieces in it that are just going to stand out and pop at you. And then the rest of it just kind of flows together. It's going to look really nice. So let's see. A couple other things I want to talk about is I've seen a lot of talk that people are talking about doing scopes. A lot of people are scared to do their scopes. They're saying, "Oh, I wouldn't put my scope in the oven. I wouldn't do this. I would only spray C series on it because it's going to be the air cure. I'm not going to do it." Well, we've been doing scopes, and honestly, I'm the only one that's ever messed one up. When I first started, I baked one out at 180, and I popped the seals on it. So 180 is too hot. 150, you're totally fine. John's never had an issue with it. I haven't had an issue with it since the one that I did. So if you we tack everything out at 180, you can leave. I mean, you have to think about it this way. People that are in the Army, they're going to be over there. They're gonna have their scopes, their gun, everything laying in these hot Humvees. And so if they're laying in the Humvee and it's getting hot in there, the sun's beating down on it, they have to have some kind of tolerance in there. That thing's gonna at least be able to hold up. It's gonna get 150, 160 degrees in that Humvee sitting in the desert with the sun beating on it. So you're totally fine putting that thing in the oven at 180 for just a few minutes. 10 minutes, it'll be tacked out. Pull it out, let it cool down. You can put your next color, stencil it, whatever you need to do. So you're totally fine on that. But when you do bake it out, just stay at 150 and you're totally going to be fine. No issues at all. Now, when it comes to actually taping one off, if you have the turrets on there, you just want to make sure that you're not going to get any sand in there. We use hot glue quite a bit on our scopes. And so if you can pull that thing, like rotate it out, like if this was where I was going to rotate, you can just pull that out, fill all that up with hot glue on the inside, and then tighten that back down and sandwich that glue in there. And now you don't have any tape lines. So you're getting rid of everything. So it's something to just kind of play around with. I mean, go to Walmart and get you like a $25 Tasco and just kind of practice with it. Who cares if you beat it up? You can also have, like, on the ends of it where your glass is, we just fill that whole thing up with hot glue. And then everything's fine. So, I mean, you don't have to worry. I see a lot of people, they say, oh, well, I just cut out my stencils or, my stencil material to fit my glass. But then you have to try to get that in there, lay it flat and everything, and you're pressing it. And if you don't get it sealed down right, you're going to blow underneath that and you're going to hit your glass. I feel like it's just easier to just fill that thing up with glue and not worry about it. So I try to leave the inside black. So I'll fill it all the way up. I don't care how deep it is. I'm just going to leave that black in there. I feel like if it's a bright color, the sun's going to reflect on it anyways while you're looking down it. And so I try not to coat anything on the insides, just the outside of the scope. And you can even do red dots. If you do any kind of scope that has a battery in it, make sure you pull the battery out before it goes in the oven. It could explode by getting too hot, so you don't want that to happen. So just make sure you pull the batteries out, and then you're good. All you're going to do is sandblast that thing. We have a, I can't think of it. We have a metering valve on our sandblaster. So we're at like 20, 25 PSI when we sandblast our scopes. And it's basically like the anodizing. All you're trying to do is just gray that thing up. You don't have to go down to bare metal. You just got to etch it. And then you're not going to put that in your soak tank. You're just going to wipe that down with acetone, gas it out, and call it good. So that's about it for scopes. I mean, they're really not that bad. If we want to if anybody needs like more of a like something like more info on it, just let me know. And we can try to get a video or something on it, or I'll bring a scope in here and we can talk about it. So I seen another person ask online. It says, "Can you wet sand Cerakote smooth?" Yes, sort of. I guess I've tried it just to kind of see myself. I purposely put ridges on something, and I took the 000 steel wool and just kind of just go at it a little wet, and you can get it on there. You just have to be careful because you can still rub down to that, like if your base coat or whatever, start having like some weird areas where it kind of looks like you might have battle worn something. But it is possible. You just kind of have to be careful and go slow at it and not be like in a rush and scrubbing too hard because you will rub down to the coat below it. Let's see. We've seen another person, they ask, can you do stencils with C-Series because it's not it is air cure. You don't tack it out in the oven. Well, it's actually still going to get to that tacked out spot. It's going to take about 45 minutes to an hour. As soon as that's tack free and you're not leaving fingerprints or nothing on it, and you can stencil it or you can spray your next coat on there, however you want to do it. You can just treat it just like you would the H series. You're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer, and it's not gonna go into the oven. But we also asked what time, or if a customer wants high gloss, how and when do you apply the high gloss during the process? So it really just depends. If you're doing like Cerakote's FX, you don't want to. That's just a single color, so you would spray. A lot of times it's mainly just black. It tells you what colors to spray on their website to get a certain effect. But a lot of times if it's like color changing, color shifting, it's just going to be a black base coat. You're going to let that sit for 15 minutes, and it's not even going to go in the oven. After you spray it, just let it hang for 15 minutes. Mix up your clear coat, and it's going to be the H series clear coat, not the air dry. So after you mix that, it comes in your little or it doesn't come with it. Your H series clear, and then your FX. You have to mix it together, and you shake that up, and then you pour it in there. But you filter all that before you actually put your metal flake in it. So you have to have a separate bottle, and then pour that in it while you're filtering it, and then add your metal flake afterwards, and then shake that up. So other than that, if you do like a full camo project, you have to bake that project 100% out, be done with it, have your stencils off, everything done, let it cool down, and then you can spray your, I guess the MC clear coat. I think that's what it's called. It's the air cure. So it's a 7 days. So we treat people like kids when it comes to clear coat. If it has to sit for 7 days, they don't get it back for 7 days, because more times than none, somebody's gonna, either if it's a cup or a tumbler, they're gonna be like, "Oh, it felt good. I used it," and they're gonna put it in the dishwasher, get it wet, or do something, and it's gonna start peeling. It's gonna look bad, and they're gonna come back to you and say, "Hey, my cup's messed up," and then you're gonna look at them and say, "Well, did you use it before the 7 days?" And they're gonna go, "Well, it felt good. I thought it was good to go." And it happens so often that now we just treat everybody the same. Nobody gets anything that's been clear coated until it's completely done. It's completely dried out. We don't have to worry about it. So that's about it for today. I don't really have a whole lot. I just kind of decided that I'm just gonna start trying to do this every week instead of every 2 weeks. So once a week, I'm just gonna try to get on here and just kind of go through the internet and try to find a bunch of questions that people have about Cerakote and try to answer those questions. And then if you guys have questions as well, I mean, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and if we have time, we'll get to those and we'll try to answer those. But every other week, we're just gonna go live and do Q&As, and then hopefully we get some people on here and we can kind of have some discussions and try to help some people out. But so don't forget though, if you guys are in town, in Branson, in the area, come to our open house Friday, June 24th. It's going to be from 2 to 5, and we're going to do lots of fun stuff. So I mean, I'll probably be in here doing podcast. I'll probably be back there doing a little bit of spraying, walking around talking to some people. John and Laura will be here. Whit will be helping me most of the day doing the podcast. But yeah, if you guys are in town, come stop on by. I mean, we'd love to have you guys in here. Come in here, sit down with us, do a podcast. It'll be awesome. So it's going to be a fun time. So if you guys are definitely in Branson, come by and check us out. Before we get out of here real quick, I'm just going to try to log on here. My TV's not working, so I don't know if anybody's actually got any questions or even in here right now. So let me just try to pull this up and see if anybody's talking. Yeah, I got it right now. 1 second, guys. I'm there. I don't know why the chat left me. Gotta go. I'm just trying to read this to figure out that. My bad. What's the least amount you can mix, like do color fill? Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. So we have a beaker back there that we use. We only have one of them, so we kind of try to keep it put away so we don't break it. But it's a 100 ml or I think it's 90 ml beaker, but we use it uh, to mix as little as 6 ml in it because it starts at 5. And so if I go to 6, then I know that I can still keep my ratio right because I'm still mixing 12 to 1. And so I just go 6.5, and that right there will kind of take care of my ratio, and I can still keep my shading the same, everything else. And so we only have, like I said, we only have one of those, so we just try to keep that one put up so it doesn't get broke. But I recommend, getting something like that so you can just mix like 6 mils up. Even if I'm doing just a small accent color, I'll mix up 6 mil. Like if I'm doing desert cam and I just want to do a little bit of green on there just to kind of hide it, or not really hide it, but just kind of put a little bit here and there, like 3 little dots. I'll do 6 mils so I'm not wasting a whole bunch of coating. So yeah, that was a good question. I think you can get those on eBay, maybe Amazon. Just make sure you get the Pyrex and you're not just getting like tempered glass. So that way they're a little bit more durable. It's going to last you a little bit longer. So I think they're not much more. I think like maybe like $10, $15 more, but they're going to last you a lot longer. I think John actually bought probably like 20 or 30 of them off of eBay. Somebody was selling them all, and he just called the guy or sent the guy a message and said, if I buy every one you got, can I have them for like $13 or $15 a piece? And the guy took it. So, I mean, we just got a shelf of them up there. So, not all of them start at the 5, though. We've only got that one. But yeah, you can definitely get online and find it for sure. Probably get one even smaller. As long as it starts at 5 and then it has that line at the top for 6, then you're good. So you can mix it. All right. Well, if anybody has any more questions, just go ahead and ask it, and then we'll help you guys out. If not, probably gonna call it a day here in a little bit. I still have a little bit more work to do in the back, because we're trying to get ready for this open house. So, but yeah, so I mean, if you guys are seriously in Branson, it's gonna be a blast. We're gonna have lots and lots of fun. So, like I said, we're gonna be giving away a Glock, and I'm gonna be coating it myself. And so, I'm not gonna tell you guys what I'm doing, but you are definitely going to want to come and check it out. It is going to be really nice. Laura's helping me out on that, doing a bunch of laser work on it. So definitely stop by and check that out. We're going to be I think all you have to do is show up and put your name in a bucket, and then you're automatically in the drawing for the winning. So all you got to do is just stop by and say hi, and you could possibly win a Glock. So if you're in town and want a Glock for free, just stop by. All right. So, and also on Applicator Hangout, we've just done like we have 2 new videos out. We have one on dry spray, and then we also are doing like a new, not really a new pattern, but it's kind of new to Cerakote. That's kind of been more popular here recently. It's the partisan camo. It's a Russian camo. I just sprayed that I think like 3 weeks ago. So we try to keep new videos going on. Whitmore, he's finally out of school, so now he has a lot more time to just kind of dedicate towards just doing all the videos. And so we should be getting a lot more videos out on Applicator Hangout more regularly. So we're hoping to, probably at least get at least 1 to 2 new videos out a week. And I'm sure we can do that. So it'll be nice. And if you guys haven't checked out Applicator Hangout, just at least I would say go check it out. I mean, there's definitely a lot of good stuff on there. If you have questions, if you request a video, we try to get on that and try to get the video on there. So if there's something that you're struggling with, a pattern that you're struggling with, you can just say, hey, is there any way you can make a video on this? And we'll take some time out of our day or throughout the week or whatever, and we will do that pattern and make a video for you just to kind of help you guys out. So, well, that's about it. For, last. Yeah, so there's actually a few different ways to do the color fill. You can do the clay, and that's how I started out doing it. It can be a lot of work because that clay is going to actually bake into your project, and it's going to get a lot harder. It can turn into basically, just concrete in there. And so it depends on how deep it is. If it's a deep engraving, I prefer to just use the color fill pens, and I think we even have a couple videos on that on Applicator Hangout. If not, we should have it up here pretty soon. I know I've done one. So they're pretty easy. They're just like flow pins or something. I forget the exact name of them, but you just kind of just just like a regular pen, and you load your coating in the bottom, and you just kind of draw it on there into whatever surface you're trying to get in. You just trace it out, and it just kind of flows it in there. That's definitely a lot easier, and the cleanup's easy. I just get Q-tips and just keep me a little bottle of acetone there and just dip my Q-tip in it. And if I get any on the outside, just wipe it off and call it good. If it's not deep enough, a lot of times the clay is the easiest way to go, 'cause you can rub that clay on there. And I've got these actual they're rubber. Oh, what are they? Razor blades. Sorry, rubber razor blades or plastic razor blades. And so they can fit on there flat, and they're not going to scratch my surface, and I can just pull that down through there, and it lays that clay in there really nice. You just have to make sure when you're doing that, you get all that clay off of your project. 'Cause if you leave it on there, you're going to have like little weird spots once you tack that thing out and everything. You might not see it while it's wet, but as soon as it bakes out, it's going to leave some like extremely weird looking areas, and you're going to have to just completely start over on your project. So just make sure you get all the access off of there. And then we do have the video on Applicator Hangout. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have a video on that under videos under tips and tricks. So if you're on Applicator Hangout, you can go check that out. The other way you can do it is you can lightly kind of mist over something, and it depends on, I guess, if it's like a lot of scrolling and it's really deep, you can spray over that and then just basically battle wear the top back down to the original color. And if it's deep enough, you're not going to get to the color underneath. And I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. So, yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming on here and spending the time with me. I'll be back next week, and we should have somebody else with us next week. I'm not sure. We have training next week, so I'll probably bring somebody in from training and just kind of talk with them. And then I've also got some people from training that we've had. We're going to kind of call and check in on them and see how they're doing now that their shop's up and running. Just kind of just start checking in with people. So, yeah, just join in next week, and we'll go from there. So, hey, thanks for coming out and checking us out. Thanks for coming to check out the Tacked Out podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys learned something. We'll see you next week. Thanks.